Some moments in life feel impossible to stand up from, but in this new episode of Heartland, the fall isn't the end. It's the beginning of something that changes everything. In Heartland, Season 19, Episode 7, Fall Down, Get Back Up. The story opens with a quiet tension that hangs over the ranch like a storm that hasn't yet broken. Everyone is moving through their morning routines, but there's a sense that today will test them in ways they didn't expect. Amy feels this more than anyone. She's taken on a new horse, one that carries fear like a shadow. The horse isn't just scared, it's unpredictable. The kind that reacts before it thinks. The kind that reminds Amy of how fragile trust can be. Still, there's something about its eyes that pulls her in. A softness buried under all that panic. She knows this won't be easy, but she also knows that the hardest journeys usually lead to the biggest changes. As Amy approaches the horse for the first time, she can feel more than see its fear. The slight tremble, the sharp breaths, the way it tries to turn away even when there's nowhere to go. It makes her remember every moment in her own life when she felt like running, even from the people trying to help. She stands still, letting the horse take its time. No pressure, no demands, just stillness. This simple act sets the tone for the whole episode. A reminder that healing doesn't come from pushing forward but from learning when to pause. Meanwhile, the rest of the ranch feels the weight of the day in different ways. Jack is trying to juggle more responsibilities than he wants to admit. He's always been the steady one, the anchor. The man who never seems to break, but age has its own way of whispering reminders. When he watches Amy with the new horse, he feels proud, but he also feels something else. A worry he keeps buried deep. He knows that both the ranch and the people on it depend on each other more than they realize. And days like this show how thin the balance can get. Lou, on the other hand, deals with her own kind of pressure. A small issue in town is slowly turning into a bigger situation than she expected. People are asking for answers, decisions, and commitments. And it leaves her wondering if she's doing enough or if she's falling behind. She hides her stress behind practiced smiles, but the weight of everyone's expectations follows her everywhere she goes. The ranch is supposed to be her safe place, but even here, her mind won't slow down. As all these threads pull tight, one character faces a challenge that pushes both their body and spirit. A moment to slip, a misstep, a fall changes the energy of the ranch in an instant. It's one of those moments that reminds everyone how quickly life can shift. The fear, the shock, the sudden question of whether everything will be okay. This event becomes the emotional spark of the episode, setting off questions about strength, courage, and how someone finds the will to rise after hitting the ground. This episode builds its story slowly, like a heartbeat steadying after a scare. Every small scene carries emotion. Amy's careful movements, Jack's quiet looks, Lou's heavy sighs, and the unspoken worry that spreads through the ranch after the fall. The theme becomes clear. Sometimes life knocks you down so hard that standing back up feels impossible. But Heartland has always been about something deeper, the power of family, trust, and the belief that even the hardest moments can shape you into someone stronger. The energy around Heartland shifts as the day moves forward, and the earlier fall becomes the quiet center of everyone's attention. No one wants to say it out loud, but fear lingers in the air. It isn't fear of danger, it's fear of what this moment might mean for the person who fell, for their confidence, and for the way they see themselves moving forward. Sometimes the hardest injuries aren't the ones you can see. They're the ones that settle in the mind, whispering doubts when no one else is around. And in this episode, that invisible struggle becomes one of the most powerful parts of the story. Amy feels it deeply. She's always been the one people turn to, the one who finds calm in chaos. But today, she's carrying two battles at once, helping a frightened horse heal, and watching someone she cares about try to stand up after a fall that shook them to the core. She wants to help, but she knows there are moments when you can't reach in and fix someone's pain for them. You can only stand beside them and hope they find their way back. Her heart is torn between wanting to push and knowing that pushing might make things worse. She understands better than anyone that real strength isn't about never falling. It's about believing you can rise again even when you aren't sure. Jack senses the heaviness around her. He walks with the slow confidence of a man who has lived through too many storms to count. He doesn't rush to comfort her. He simply stays close, letting his steady presence say what words can't. He knows pain, he knows doubt, and he knows that the people he loves often try to hide their struggles behind quiet smiles. As he watches the person recovering from the fall, he feels a familiar worry twist inside him, not because of the physical injury, but because he sees the way they look at the ground now, as if checking the earth twice before trusting it again. Lou, meanwhile, feels caught between her responsibilities in town and the tension at the ranch. She wants to be everywhere at once, solving every problem, calming every fear. But the truth is, she's stretched thin. The fall rattled her more than she wants to admit. It made her realize how fragile everything can be. How quickly one moment can shake the foundation she works so hard to hold together. She tries to hide her stress, but Heartland has a way of revealing what people try hardest to bury. A single quiet moment alone in the kitchen, hands resting on the counter, eyes closed, says more about her fear than words ever could. The horse. Amy is working with mirrors the emotional energy around the ranch. Every time she gets close, the horse flinches, unsure whether to trust or run. And in a strange way, its fear reflects what the fallen character is feeling too. Amy notices this connection, and it makes her even more determined to help both of them. She knows healing doesn't happen all at once. It comes in small steps, one breath, one calm moment, one tiny sign of trust. She gives the horse space, moving slow, speaking soft, letting her patience fill the air. And for the first time since arriving at Heartland, the horse stops pulling away. A tiny shift, but a meaningful one. These moments set the stage for emotional growth throughout the episode. Every character is facing something, even if their challenges look different. Heartland has always been about the bond between humans and horses, but episodes like this show something deeper. The ranch itself becomes a place where people confront their fears, face their failures, and learn to rise again. The fall may have shaken them, but the story of getting back up is what gives this episode its heart. There is a sense that something important is coming, something that will push them, test them, and change them in ways they don't yet see. As the day stretches on, Heartland begins to feel like a mirror reflecting every fear, every doubt, every unspoken thought hiding beneath the surface. The fall has become more than a single moment. It has become a turning point, touching each character in a different way. The ranch feels quieter than usual, as if even the wind is waiting to see what comes next. It's in this stillness that emotions rise, and the truth begins to surface. The person who fell is trying to move through the day like nothing has changed, but it's clear from their eyes that something inside has shifted. They keep replaying the fall in their head, over and over. The sound, the shock, the way the ground felt when it rushed up too fast. It's strange how a few seconds can echo for hours, or even days. They try to walk normally, talk normally, but the confidence they once carried has dimmed. Even small tasks feel heavy now. Every step is careful, every movement is measured. They don't want anyone to see the fear building inside them, but Heartland is full of people who notice the quiet things, especially Amy. Amy watches from a distance, and it breaks her heart a little. She knows better than anyone what it feels like to lose trust in yourself. She can almost feel the weight sitting on their shoulders. She tries to find the right moment to talk, but each time she gets close, she senses they're not ready. So she pulls back, choosing patience over pressure. She turns toward the horse she's been working with, the one that carries its own fear, and she realizes something. Both the horse and the person she loves are stuck in the same place, caught between wanting to move forward and being terrified of falling again. This realization sparks something in her. Healing for one might teach healing for the other. Amy begins to shift her approach with the horse. Instead of focusing on what scares it, she focuses on what calms it. She creates small victory steps so tiny that someone else might not even notice. A soft touch, a slow breath, a moment where the horse stands still without pulling away. These tiny breakthroughs help Amy understand what the fallen character might need to. Not a push, not a speech, but proof that moving forward is possible one small moment at a time. Jack senses this change in Amy, and it reminds him of her younger years when she was still figuring out her gift and learning that healing doesn't just happen in the ring. He remembers the girl who used to doubt herself even when everyone else could see her strength. Watching her now, steady and patient, he feels a deep pride mixed with worry. He wants to step in and help the fallen character himself, but he knows some lessons can't be spoken. They must be felt. Lou, meanwhile, becomes the unexpected emotional anchor. She doesn't approach with advice or questions. Instead, she sits beside the person quietly, offering her presence like a soft blanket. She doesn't need to say much. Her silence is comforting. It becomes a gentle reminder that they aren't alone. People fall, people get scared. But Heartland isn't the kind of place where anyone has to face their struggles without support. Later in the day, a small moment changes everything. The fallen character walks past the horse Amy is training. The horse reacts, but not with fear either, with curiosity. It's the first time the horse has shifted its energy toward something other than panic. This catches the character off guard. For a moment, both stand there, two beings who have fallen in their own way, sharing the same quiet breath. It's tiny, it's fragile, but it's hopeful. Amy sees this from a distance, and a smile forms on her face. Not because everything is solved, but because she knows what this means. Healing has started. Not fast, not loud, but real. The entire ranch seems to take a breath with them. The fear that hung over the day begins to soften. Heartland is still carrying the weight of the fall, but now it carries something else too, a sense of possibility. A sense that rising again isn't just a hope, it's within reach. As the day at Heartland reaches its final hours, a quiet shift begins to settle over the ranch, like the world itself is preparing for a moment of truth. The sky carries the soft colors of evening, and the air feels cooler, calmer. Almost as if the ranch is exhaling after holding its breath for too long. This is the kind of evening where emotions rise to the surface, where people face the things they've been avoiding, and where healing becomes harder to ignore. The person who fell finally stops pretending everything is fine. After hours of fighting the worry inside them, they find themselves standing alone near the fence line, staring at the ground as if it holds the answer to what they're supposed to do next. They feel trapped between fear and wanting to feel normal again. The memory of the fall hasn't faded, it lingers like a shadow behind every movement. Their legs feel unsteady, not from injury but from doubt. It's strange how the mind can bruise deeper than the body. They whisper to themselves that they should be stronger, braver, tougher. But the truth is, they feel small. Amy approaches slowly, keeping her steps soft. She doesn't ask if they're okay. She already knows the answer. Instead, she stands beside them and looks out at the open field. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. It's not an uncomfortable silence, it's an understanding one. Finally, Amy shares something simple but powerful. Something she's learned from every horse she's ever worked with. Falling isn't failure. Staying down is, and even then, getting up isn't a race. It's a choice. Her words settle over the moment like a warm blanket, and for the first time all day, the person beside her feels seen, not as someone who messed up, but as someone who is allowed to feel scared. Amy's presence, steady and calm, becomes the push they didn't know they needed. She leads them toward the training ring where the fearful horse waits. The sun is low now, casting long shadows across the ground. The horse lifts its head when they approach, its ears turning forward, curious. This moment is different from all the others, they can feel it. Amy gently encourages them to step closer to the horse, but she doesn't force it. It's simply an invitation. The person hesitates at first, the memory of the fall flashing through their mind, but then something unexpected happens. The horse takes a small step toward them. No fear, no tension, just quiet interest. It's as if the horse recognizes their pain, their fear, and wants to share a moment of understanding. The connection is fragile, but it's real. Slowly, they reach out and place a hand on the horse's neck. Their fingers tremble, but they don't pull away. The horse doesn't either. It simply stands there, breathing softly, offering the kind of comfort that words can't give. This moment becomes the turning point of the entire episode. The horse that's been afraid of everything chooses trust, and the person who's been afraid of trying again chooses courage. Both of them, in their own way, take the first step toward standing tall after falling hard. Jack watches from a distance, his eyes soft with pride. He doesn't say anything, but Amy knows what his expression means. This is what Heartland is about: growth, healing, second chances. Lou joins him, her stress finally melting into relief. The ranch feels alive again, as if the weight of the day has finally lifted. The fear that once wrapped around everyone has loosened, replaced by something bright. As the scene comes to a close, the final message of the episode becomes clear. Falling is a part of life, but so is rising. And sometimes, rising isn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's a quiet breath, a trembling hand, a step forward when you're still scared. Heartland reminds us that strength isn't about being fearless, it's about finding the courage to keep going, even when fear tries to hold you still. The sun sets over the ranch, painting the sky in soft gold. And for the first time all day, the ranch feels whole again. The fall doesn't define the day anymore. What defines it is the moment someone decided to stand back up. The night settles gently over Heartland, wrapping the ranch in a calm that feels almost earned after the long, emotional day. The sky above is filled with quiet stars, and the fields lie still, as if the entire world has paused to let the lessons of the day sink in. Heartland has always been a place of healing, a place where pain softens and hope slowly finds its way back into people's hearts, but tonight, that feeling is stronger than ever. The person who fell earlier in the day now walks with a different energy, not completely confident yet, but lighter, more open, as if a small spark of courage has been relit inside them. The fear hasn't vanished, and the memory of the fall still lingers at the back of their mind, but they are no longer letting it control them. Every step they take feels more natural, more intentional, more theirs. They're not rushing their recovery or forcing themselves to feel brave. They're simply choosing not to stop. And that choice alone becomes the quiet victory of the episode. Amy stands beside the horse she's been working with, watching it rest more peacefully than it has since arriving at the ranch. She gently strokes its mane, feeling proud of the small breakthroughs they made together. What amazed her most wasn't how the horse changed, but how it changed at the same moment the fallen character did. She can't explain it, but she feels it deeply sometimes. Healing doesn't happen alone. Sometimes two broken things help each other stand again without even meaning to. That connection is what gives Amy a sense of purpose stronger than words. The ranch, the horses, the people, they're all woven together in ways that bring out their best. Jack comes by with his slow, steady steps, the kind that say more than any speech ever could. He has seen fear, and he has seen strength, and today he saw how close those two things truly are. Without saying much, he gives Amy a small nod, the kind that tells her he understands everything she's thinking. He looks at the person who struggled through the day and gives them the same nod, quiet approval. Honest pride, and a reminder that falling is just one part of life. Getting up is the other. Lou joins them later, tired but relieved. She finally lets herself breathe, knowing the ranch is ending the day with more peace than it started with. She talks softly about the town, the pressures she's been facing, and how days like this remind her why she fights so hard to protect everything Heartland stands for. She sees the healing around her and feels her own shoulders loosen. Sometimes she forgets that she, too, is allowed to fall and rise again. The ranch has a way of teaching everyone the same lesson, even when they think they're only watching from the sidelines. The person who fell earlier in the day walks over to the training ring one last time before heading inside. The horse lifts its head when it sees them, and something passes between them and understanding. A connection born from shared fear and shared courage. They reach out one more time, resting a gentle hand on the horse's neck. This time, their hand doesn't shake. The moment is simple, but it carries the weight of everything they felt today. It's quiet proof that healing is real, even when slow, even when subtle, even when it hurts. The ranch lights glow warm against the dark sky, and the soft sounds of evening settle in. The day may have started with a fall, but it ends with something much stronger. Reminder that setbacks are just chapters, not endings. Heartland has always been a place where people rediscover who they are, and today was no different. The episode's message becomes clear in its final moments. You don't have to rise quickly, perfectly, or without fear. You just have to rise.